Hi, my name is Stephen McGee. I'm the author of this book. It's called Toxic Health. I'm here today to show you the EMI that comes out of my Windows 7 PC, which I bought earlier this year. And it's actually currently switched off, and we have an oscilloscope right here that is set up to do our measurements. And our power supply is right behind the oscilloscope, and we're going to first measure the power supply. And to do that, I need to connect in with the tip of my finger onto the oscilloscope. So I'm now connected in. And I'm going to reach over and touch the power supply. So as you can see, it's connected a whole bunch of electrical energy into my body. And it's very, very large. Our oscilloscope is actually set on to 500 millivolts per division in the vertical direction, and 10 milliseconds in the horizontal direction. So what you can see is it's actually 60 Hertz, and it looks somewhat like a capacitive charging curve. I'm actually insulated from the ground. I have my shoes on right now. So it appears that my body is constantly charging and discharging in line with the AC cycle. So we're going to scan the computer with my hand, and we're going to see what happens to our waveform here. So the computer is currently switched off, and we can see that even in its switched off state, the waveform is changing. And it depends on where you put your hand and what you're actually touching. And I know this computer, it actually gives out radio waves even when it's switched off. It must have some kind of battery backup that's keeping some of the circuitry alive, such as the clock, when it's turned off. So I'm now going to switch on this computer, and we can see what happens. So one of the things that you need to be aware of is laptop computers. They're probably one of the most toxic computers that you can buy, and they give out a whole bunch of electromagnetic interference. And the sicknesses associated with electromagnetic interference are radiowave sickness and electromagnetic hypersensitivity. So you should go online and Google them and have a read about those conditions, because it appears that these laptop computers can actually induce those conditions into you because of the radio fields that are around them. So our computer is now booted up, it's on. So keep an eye on the display, and I will move my hand around the computer system. So you can see that the waveform has significantly changed. As we slowly move it around, we can see that it changes depending on where my hand is on the computer system. And the biggest change is right over here. I'm not too sure what's over here, but there's something in the computer system in this location that's having some kind of effect. And one of the things when you do these tests is sometimes it can be your oscilloscope that causes the effect. So you should verify that it's not the oscilloscope. So we can see that the oscilloscope's having some level of effect, but it doesn't really seem to change the waveform until I touch the computer. The waveform is significantly different at that point. Now this oscilloscope has what's known as a fast Fourier transform function. I'm going to switch that on. So what this does, it actually analyzes the waveform that's coming in and breaks it out into its independent frequencies. And we're set on 100 Hertz per division going in the horizontal direction right now. And if I put my hand on the computer, we can see that some of the waveform changes. So I've just taken it off and put it back on. And let's move it around and see what happens. One of the things I noticed with this particular computer is when your hand is on the mouse pad, it really changes the body voltage, and you end up with these very strange frequencies in the mouse pad area on this particular computer. So let's change the scale. So we're on 5 kilohertz per division, and let's repeat the test. And you can see that frequencies are coming in and out. And right there, at the very right hand side, a frequency just came in by the mouse pad. So I'm going to increase the scale some more. So we're on 25 kilohertz per division. And we can see that the frequencies are changing as my hand moves around. And here we are on top of the mouse pad, and a whole bunch of frequencies has come in quite near the center of the display. So after I conclude that, there's something on this mouse pad area that is interacting with the human body. And it seems to be around 150 kilohertz. So there you have it. These computers do actually interact with the human body voltage and do actually change the waveform on your body. And it's quite possible that your computer has the ability to impact your health in the long term. And if you have health problems, I would suggest that you take a look at what's in your environment, particularly regarding your electronics, because this effect is not just limited to computers. This effect is in pretty much all electronic equipment. And if you Google electromagnetic interference, you'll find a whole bunch of health information relating to these effects. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.